Hi everyone. Today our lecture is about research project and I have already uploaded a PDF file. I hope you all have seen that. This is an important activity and I thought to record a dedicated lecture for this activity. Before going directly towards the PDF file and explaining related things, I will share few additional things in this lecture. You may call them word of advice or whatever. Once you listen to them, then it's up to you what you call them, but generally whenever I got a chance and I shared these things or similar things with my students, they often call it life lessons. So if these things click to you, I suggest that we should keep them with us for the rest of our life. I like this saying, you might have heard it, and I think it matches with my teaching philosophy. That's why I would like to share here. If you read this, probably it gives an indication that it is more inclined towards teaching, but I think it is equally important for both student and a teacher. And as teachers, we try to teach you in such a way that you are first able to understand the thing which we are going to explain, and then that understanding, that level of understanding should be in such a way that you should be able to take that understanding to the next level, a kind of creativity or kind of self-learning ability, right? So when you are getting these things, when you think that you are developing these things, it means you are going in a right direction. And one more thing I would like to share, that you are a senior students, and I think you should also observe that how much you are gaining, how much you are learning, in which direction you are going. There are many things to explore more in the future. Undergraduate degree is just a beginning in the field. So always think that, to me, these three things are very important. 3 C's, right? One is creativity. I'm not writing to save the time. One is creativity, second is confidence, and third one is character, right? This is rarely focused in many institutes, right? Or we can say that there are rare institutes who focus on this character building. So this is also important, and I think these 3 C's can cover almost 360 degree in education, right? This is a course learning outcome. We are not going to particularly explain or focus on outcomes. I would like to share here one thing, that you have seen that in all courses you get this CLO and Bloom's taxonomy level and PLO, and I'm sure that you have an idea what is C, it's cognitive, and these are the levels, and then effective computing. I hope you have an idea that this is related to mind and this is related to emotions or heart. Some people, right, related with heart, right? So emotions, and the third one is psychomotor, P. If you see here why I'm sharing this, I noticed that when we design these or whenever the people work on this curriculum design, and we follow Bloom's taxonomy, and we look at the verbs, would look at the expressions, and we look at the complexity level, and then we decide it should be C2, C3, C4, or what level it should be, and which domain it should be, like cognitive, affective, or psychomotor. And you will find many courses in which you only get cognitive or combination of these, any 2 of these characteristics, right? There would be very few courses in which you are getting all of them, C, A, P, right? My point is that I think every significant activity, every course, like learning is a significant activity. You are taking a course, it's a significant activity. Every course must have CAP, or every task in your life, whether it is study or something significant you are working on, it must involve these three attributes, right? Because if you want to produce something extraordinary, it is necessary, or it extraordinary results cannot be achieved without the proper synchronization of your mind, your heart, and your physical effort or physical input, right? These three things are very important to synchronize in order to produce something extraordinary, right? That's why theoretically, or as far as Bloom's taxonomy is concerned, we look at these things, but this is my general advice, that try to build interest in the task that you are doing, right? So now, building the interest, there are two aspects. Few things depends on the instructors like us, and few things depends on students. So it's a mutual relationship, right? If I am explaining something and I am not explaining well, you will have difficulty to understand, or probably you will not understand. So it's not you definitely, cognitive means brain, this is also will not work well, effective. Of course, you are not understanding something, your emotions, your heart will not be with you, right? So result will not be good, no extra, or cannot be produced, right? So you see here, there are many things that we are able to do, but they might be average or they might be good. So it means our mind is working, our heart was not with that, right? Physical input depends that how efficiently we use the computer or any other task in which physical input is required. So when you will see that all things are with you, right, we can understand that our heart is with us or not in this particular task. When you will see that it is triggered, heart is triggered, then mind is of course triggered, right? There are many tasks in which your mind is actively working, understanding, but you're not motivated, your heart is probably not with you. So it means, again, not that is not an ideal situation, right? So I hope you are getting the idea. So here, that's why there are many people have written about this. So the point is that try to synchronize these things, these three things whenever you are doing some significant activity, and once they are synchronized, your task, your result would be appreciable, right? People will appreciate that, and you will also like. That's why you see, whenever in a class, whenever result is announced, and let's say we have a reasonable strength in the class, for example 30 students, right? So the result is like this, like grading, mostly like this. Mostly, some students are very good, some students are average, get average results, and some are academically weak, right? It's very rare in any university that you see there are 30 students and all are getting A plus or all are getting fail. So it's a rare chance, right? Because it depends that how many students have synchronized these three things, right? And mostly you see, whenever you are getting something extraordinary, you like that thing, right? Unless there is an exceptional case, right? Of course, there is a possibility that what is the standard of education, what is the standard of invigilation, examination system, how much it is how much academic integrity is ensured. These are the factors that we also consider. But generally, if system is okay and you are getting A plus, it means your these three things were synchronized well. Now you have seen this slide. I have also shared in the first lecture, but in probably, I think the concept was same, that these big names, whenever you see, you read their history, and you will find that they love their job, they love their field, right? You will never find any such person who will see that I came here and in this field and I'm don't like it, I'm just managing it, right? So it's not possible to produce something extraordinary with such situation, right? Now we are coming to the outlines of this lecture. As I said that in this lecture I will not just talk about that PDF file but give you some general understanding about overall research practices, right? And of course we will also cover the things which are specific to that research project. I will start with the relationship between teaching and research. What is research? Why do research at undergraduate level? Like, so undergraduate level research is not compulsion, but it is highly recommended or desired. And how why it is important, right? Because in many universities undergraduate degrees are only coursework based. It's not compulsion, right? Usually people do research at master's level and above, but you will see that there are many advantages and it can be very beneficial if you do it at undergraduate level. Areas of interest: general talk, then literature review and selection, how to read the paper, sorry, idea, proposal, how to write proposal, things to know during research, importance of using appropriate materials, and finally I will share some representative works by the students done under my supervision. This is the relationship between teaching and research, right? Not directly related to you, it's more like related to the professors, but I would like to share that you might be future professor or you will join industry, and whether you join industry or academia, you should try to be in touch with research in both fields, right? So because teaching drives research, and research in turn drives teaching, and basically these are two sides of the same coin. There are many definitions for research, but I like this and it's easy to understand. That's defined as the creation of new knowledge and use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way. So when students read this might be scary, or it gives an impression that it's too difficult or too much expectations are there. It's true, this is actually research, but not everyone is achieving this level, right? Creation of new knowledge, it's not easy, but this could be considered, especially at undergraduate, master's level, use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way, right? You can aim this, always aim high, you can set this target, but you start from here, right? Use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way. Then it involves synthesis and analysis of previous research, and you get to some outcome. This is a slide showing it can be used as a motivation, like students should have an idea that why I should do this. Like you take any course, you do some task, someone is convincing you to follow this path, so you should have a clear idea, right? Why we should do this, what are the advantages, pros and cons, etc. So when you do research, you will notice all these things that enhances knowledge for a certain topic. Of course, because research demands you to go in depth, right? It helps to develop independent critical thinking skills, because in research it is always based on critical thinking, critical analysis, reviewing other works and finding the pros and cons, limitations, taking it to the next level. So it of course enhances your critical thinking skills. And whenever you study any programming course, or almost all computer science courses, they need some critical thinking, but you will see that research is ahead of them. When you do research, your way of thinking in your daily life will also change, right? Enhances verbal and non-verbal communication skills. You write scientific papers, you read a lot of papers. Of course you read a lot than writing, so it enhances your communication skills, both verbal and non-verbal. Develop skills to quantify the solution. Research is basically comparison, evaluation, synthesis, comparing the solution of one with another, so you get the ability to quantify the things. Develop skills to use the appropriate tools for system implementations. I always say that achieving the task is not the only objective, like you do it by hook or crook. As a designer, as an architect, as a computer engineer, you should look for better solution, the best possible solution. So it means you have 5 solutions and you will compare them, you will find the trade-offs, and you will finally decide or figure out the best solution, right? Which tools should be used, programming tools or other related things. Develop skills to integrate theory and practice. So whatever you study in computer science, there are some theoretical courses, practical courses, and this research demands you to utilize that knowledge. Extremely helpful for higher studies. This is very important point, because as I said, undergraduate degree is just a beginning degree. I hope most of you will go further for master education and PhD education. So once you are done with undergraduate studies, in order to secure a position in a good university, your CGPA matters, and your skills, of course, and if you have a publication, that will contribute a lot, because there would be very few undergraduate students who have a publication, and if the level or the quality of the publication is reasonable, then of course it would be very beneficial. And imagine that your name will come in the research community, right? Someone will Google and your name and our profiles are coming on social media or something like that. So it's not an achievement, but when your name pops up in research community, in Wikipedia, right, it's an achievement. So Wikipedia is not always shows the profiles of contributors. Sometimes there are some profiles which are notorious, so that's why I like to clear it, that usually we are looking at the positive aspect. So when your names pops up in that way, then it is a source of inspiration or satisfaction. Challenges. Knowledge creation is a complex task. It's not easy. Self-learning ability. That's why I always emphasize that students should have self-learning ability, and self-learning ability could be developed if we, as an instructor, we give you proper directions, like how to find solution for something, how self-learning ability can be developed step by step. Always remember, try to solve the problems step by step, gain some little understanding, it will give you source of inspiration, then you will move forward. Difficult to cope with the course workload. So it's a fact that for undergraduate level it is little difficult, because you are usually taking around 5 courses, so it's not easy to carry research along with this workload, because in masters and PhD education the only focus is most of the focus is on research. This is a guide, that giving the idea of research, that this is a knowledge, human knowledge. You see, human knowledge is limited, circle, always limited. And what is the source of inspiration for a human knowledge? How we get this? One, I think nature is one of the biggest source of knowledge, right? And if you compare, you see, just observe, instead of in front of nature, our knowledge is nothing, right? So we are exploring the nature, we are extracting the knowledge step by step along with time, and this circle is getting bigger. Maybe 200 or 300 centuries ago this circle was like this, then this, so it is expanding like this, right? It will keep expanding. So this is your knowledge. This is like learners. This is a existing human knowledge, and this is someone started from this schooling, and then higher education, I mean higher school, then of course you are getting like this, you are expanding knowledge in one particular field, and you reach at this boundary in that particular area, right? Now you see here, if someone is just putting a dot, just dot like this, nothing, very small, so it becomes a research work, right? Whether it is a master's level, PhD, or undergraduate level, the quality of the research defines how much someone has contributed. Many people have an understanding or opinion that research starts at undergraduate or master's or PhD. I think research could be started at any age. Any person, anyone can have this type of thinking that something could be produced at any stage. There's no compulsion or age restriction. Area of interest. Pick a direction or research area based on your academic background and interests. So when you are in 3rd or 4th year, you study a lot of courses, then there should be some area that you like most. So always try to work in your area, in your interest. Do not look which field has a scope, like where like even advisors give you directions, right? Of course they have knowledge, experience, but they give directions. Most of the things, most of the knowledge is acquired by the student himself, right? So first thing is that look for your interest and try to narrow down the topic from that field. Once you select the area, try to dig as much as possible in order to narrow down. Like when we talk about fields, you might be thinking about wireless communication, artificial intelligence, cyber security, big data processing, fog computing, edge computing, Internet of Things. A lot of fields are there. Biometric security, blockchain. These are very broad areas, right? They are just giving you direction that this is the field that I'm going to work. Then you should dig that field, explore it, right? How to explore, how to dig that? Look for papers, related papers. For example, you are looking for some topics in computer architecture, so write the terms which you are studying from computer architecture fields, right? You may be writing general terms, broad level terms. Then once you write them, then you will get some stuff, you will get more keywords, and your search will be narrowing down. For example, currently we are studying instruction set architecture. Let's see what it gives us. So see, customize instruction set simulations, so it's related. Risk processor scheme to improve intrinsic error detection of the instruction set architecture, right? Although it's a general term. Now you see, once you read these papers, then you will be finding more keywords, more specific keywords, right? Inside these papers. And of course you can always filter this search, try to get some recent papers first, then when you feel the need, then you can go back, right? Sometimes you need to read classic papers 20-30 years back, so depending upon the situation, but in order to generate the idea, you have to read the recent papers. So this is how you get the stuff and you get closer to your topics. Similarly, in addition to this, you may look for CFPs, call for papers, conferences. Conferences are always done on recent trends or emerging trends, right? So because the researchers foresee that for the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, maybe 10 years, uh, where we are leading, right? So what are the things that we need to figure out at this time? So the CFPs, call for papers, for conferences, for journals, they also give you an idea about the research directions. This is another example, not related to computer architecture, but just giving you an idea that network intrusion detection is one field, and this field comes under cybersecurity, right? So this is not sufficient. If you see, then it has four uh, classifications. Then you decide to work in this area, anomaly based, then it also expanding to something. Then you decide to work in self-learning, then it is also expanding to this. Then you decide to work in machine learning, then there are another more areas. Then you try to work in this area, classification based. So this becomes your, like you are digging it, and here you think that I can contribute something. So one box, every box is a research area, right? So you see, that's why we say there is a very famous quotation by Albert Einstein that the more I learn, the more I realize that how much I don't know, right? So when you explore the things, when you go in more depths, then you see, oh, there are many things to explore and I know very little. Some research directions in computer architecture. So these are some directions given. This is just an idea, right? So it's not necessary to pick any area from this. You are most welcome to explore similar areas of your comfort. Literature review and selection. Then this is very important, how we learn, right? So we all are learners, and there are many people, many things in this world that are better than us. We are not at the leading edge. So it means those things which are better than us, those can be our inspiration. We can learn from them. So literature review is just like standing on shoulders of the giants, right? So when you keep this thing in mind, that these are the shoulders of the giants, once we understand them, it means we can move further, or we can see further, right? It's a very beautiful quotation. In order to move forward, always try to connect with something better than you and reach at that point, then move to the next one, and so on. The key to successful research is an extensive literature review. Consult the reputed digital libraries. Always try to, as I said, keep your source code, right? So usually we become what similar to the source that we choose, right? So whenever you see any you might have heard that behind every successful man there is a woman, right? So it's true. It's a famous quotation, so definitely there would be some fact, but it's not always true. And what is the key point for me, that there is always some reputed source behind every great success. Now that source could be woman, that could be man, that could be book, that could be any personality, that could be any belief, that could be any motivational source, anything, but there would be something great behind great success. Search the material for only one topic at a time which you selected. This is important, right? Because you need to keep the focus. The difficult things, it's not easy to synchronize your cognitive and affective and psychomotor attributes, because there are two things. Like you are playing a game, it's a fun, so you can synchronize those three things easily. But when you are doing something serious, education, research, study is a serious thing, it's difficult to synchronize. But and that in this situation you need to focus, concentrate, right? Because once we don't understand something, we might lose our focus. So this is important, that do not lose courage and keep moving. How you can keep moving, keep forward? Just remember this thing, probably I have a figure somewhere like this, right? This, I will go back, that sometimes we look at the task like this, and we feel we take them very difficult, and we try to achieve them big, something big in the very first step, initial steps, and we spend a lot of time and we lose courage, we might drop that idea. So this is the key point. Break the task, make it into small. First of all, you look at the overall objective, that is my path going right, my path is right or not. This is very important. Once you ensure that this direction is okay, then divide the task. And what is the benefit? When you divide the task, it becomes easy, and once you get this thing, you get source of inspiration, that I am achieving something, I am achieving, so it will keep you moving. This is important, that for final destination should be in your mind. Keep end in mind, because sometimes you break the task and you are moving like this, so it will take you something else. You are going in not in a right direction, right? So this is important. So we were here, search for quality and preferably recent literatures. Like quality means, if you talk about journals, top tier journals are Q1, Q2, Q3 and Q4. These are the top quartile journals. You also call them SCI, Science Citation Index, or Science Citation Index Expanded. These are top tier journals. Then we have Scopus and so on. So try to read quality papers. How to know that this is a quality paper? It will take some time to explain, but I will try, right? I will try to explain it shortly. There is a database, Thomson Reuters. You can search for it, and there is a website. You will see there will be some option to search for the paper, to not search for the paper, to check the quality of the journal. So for every journal we have ISSN number, ISSN. One is EISSN, one is print ISSN. So you insert the ISSN. This is just like a code of the journal, right? Unique code. So you put it, and if you get that it is listed in this database, it means it is okay, quality journal, right? I will try to show it maybe in this lecture. Try to at least select 10 to 15 papers. For undergraduate student it is okay, right? If you can read more papers, it's better, but this is a minimum figure. While reading the selected papers, concentrate more on abstract, introduction and conclusion first. So because you get an idea like what this paper is about, and then you go into the details. Then look for these things, what issues, problems it addresses, and also annotate the paper. You are using a PDF file, or if you are comfortable in prints, hard copy, so write some notes on that paper, because we cannot remember everything. What solution it proposed, is it novel, something new, how the proposed solution differs from the previous solutions, are there any limitations, drawbacks, or the things which authors are unable to do, but they have indicated that this could be done. What are the main contributions and conclusions, and among your literature review, select the paper you understand best. So this is final thing, that from those 10 to 15 papers, there should be at least 1 or 2 papers or 3 papers that you think that I read them, I understand them well. Because once you understand something, then you can bring some changes. You are able to enhance existing thing. This is the key point, that you understand the paper, then you will be able to come up with some similar idea or some improvements. And remember, we are not expecting something extraordinary, something innovative. If you can come up with something like that, it's great, but an average performance, or if you are able to contribute a little bit because you are a beginner, that is okay, that would also be appreciated at this level. Idea is basically a reusable insight useful for the reader. Considering the best paper means which you understand first, which you understand well. Now you got one paper from those 15 papers which you understand well. Now dig that paper more, means search 3 to 5 more papers, because you got the idea, you will be able to search similar contents more easily, right? So once you read more similar contents, it means your level of understanding would be increased. Then look for these these things: analysis methods, evaluation metrics. There are many types of evaluation metrics, you can search for them. Evaluation tools like software tools, data sets if used. Comparative evaluation means most of the research papers compare their solution with existing, and this is very important part, because when you submit your research, they look for comparative evaluation. They like to know that how it is better from existing solutions, what are the differences. So it's an important part. Analysis and interpretation of results, conclusions and future directions. So you look for these things. Writing a proposal. So here once you get some idea, you think about writing the proposal. Introduction, and in proposal you consider these things: problem statement, overview of existing, what is the existing state, limitations, because you get some idea, so it means you observe that this is the area where I can make some improvement. So it means there would be some state of the existing work, there would be some problem statement, and there would be some limitation that you are considering to improve. So these things will automatically come when you will read, when you will go through these steps which we explained, which we learned from on the previous slides. These things will automatically come into your mind: potential directions and ideas for improvement and expected results, etc. Things to know, learn during research. Types of research papers. These are the things that many people I have seen, that even master students, even PhD students, they have a little idea, because many advisors, professors keep many things with them only, means they do not actively encourage students or give the chance to students to involve in those activities. For example, submission of paper, interaction with the editorial team, writing response letters and many other things, right? So of course they know, because probably sometimes they think that they are beginners and I should communicate with the editorial team. It's okay, right? But students should be involved in every activity because of his learning. Types of research papers. There are three major types. Three major means there are many others, but one is technical paper, research paper we call that, and second one is survey paper. First one is research paper or technical paper, research paper, survey, and third type, common type, is review paper. There are also letters, short notes and other things, comments, papers, etc. But these three are very common, right? Here in this course, research paper, by the way, research paper or technical paper is desired because it shows contributions, right? It brings up mostly something new or enhancement, significant enhancements. The survey paper is basically, as its name is indicating, you survey the existing field and you compile the existing research, existing knowledge, and in order to bring some insights or make it useful for the existing readers. And here note that whenever you are searching for literature review, here always try to look for top quality survey paper and review papers, because they summarize the field in just 15 to 20 pages right? They are very helpful for new researchers. Instead of reading a lot of books, just read few top quality survey and review papers. They will tell you everything about the field, updated review papers, right? So survey paper and review papers, good survey and good review papers are not easy to write, very difficult, but normal average papers are easy to write, right? So when you will, now of course you have to write paper in this course, any one of these. So my advice, this is of course recommended, but this involves some experimental evaluation. It takes more time, little difficult, so it's up to you whether you like to go for it. If you think it is difficult, you can look for survey paper. It's little easy because it's compilation of existing knowledge, but try to come up with a good survey paper, right? And if you are looking for this, then short paper would be okay, short, around 6 papers. But if you are considering these papers, then these should have a reasonable strength, reasonable length, right? Like normally a normal survey paper is around 18-20 pages are normal, right? Usually they are more than this. Then letter is difficult, so we can skip this. Conference paper versus journal paper. Conference paper is easy to write, journal is little difficult, right? Length of conference paper is around 6 pages on an average. Some are 4 pages, even less than this, or more, 8 pages, but usually on an average it is 6 pages. And journal papers are little lengthy, more technical, and conference paper need to be presented somewhere. Journal papers do not need presentation. These are some of the differences. We can go in more details, or you can ask more about these things. I'm quickly covering them. Selecting your target journal or a conference, this is also important. How we know which journal is suitable for our research, and how to understand the aims and scope of the journal. Every journal has some aim and scope, and that specifies what type of journal paper it is seeking, or what type of papers it accepts for review. So proofreading a paper, language editing, this is also necessary. Let's say our language is not very good, no problem, we are beginners, and how we can improve, we look at the papers. When we are doing literature review, we should also keep it in mind that I have to write similar type of paper, so use similar type of phrases. The style of the papers is almost same, so you use similar style. And let's say our language is weak, so then no problem, there is an option available, language editing. People go for that, and they submit their paper to the professional language editing. They charge some fee, and they edit the paper. Determining journal quality and indexing, I told you and about this, that how to determine. Let's say Thomson Reuters, I am also accessing it after a lot of time. Maybe there is some master journal list. Yeah, it's better to select this master journal list. Now you see here you write search journal ISSN or title word. Title word is not like when you use some database and you search the record, so you prefer to use ID, like student ID, NIC number, passport number, something like that. So this is a unique number, ISS, every journal have. For example, this, let's say this is a IEEE Computer Architecture Letters journal, and this is home page. You see, when you see this type of journal, impact factor, it means it's a good journal, right? It may be Q1, Q2, Q3 or Q4, any journal which has impact factor, it means either it falls between Q1 to Q4 and it is SCI or SCIE journal, it is considered good. So here you will find some ISSN information, something, there should be some information here. Not visible. Okay, so initially it was here, but they have changed the format, and here now it's given here ISSN information, right? So this is, I told you there are usually two ISSN, one is online, another is print. So in order to search in Thomson Reader, we use print. So copy and we search here. So you see here it's listing here, so it's showing us that this is indexed in this SCIE. So when some result pops up here, it means that is okay, journal quality is good. Similarly, you can check for any journal. Conferences don't fall in this indexing. Okay, so we come back. What is peer review? Means you write paper, you submit it to journal, and that paper is sent to your to the peer review community, means other researchers, and they review the paper and come up with their result, whether it is accepted, rejected, review. In the first attempt, 99% of the papers, even more than this, gets major or minor review, right? Means it's not accepted in the first attempt generally in good journals. So then review means major, minor review means some changes are required, and then once you do the changes, you submit it again, then it is again reviewed and they come up with decision, accept or reject. Composing cover letter and response letters, this is also important. Means once you get reviews, you should learn that how to write cover letters and how to respond them. And if we get a chance, although time is very short in one semester, but if we get a chance, we will look at these things. By the way, previously it happened that because one semester is short, in one semester we cannot publish the paper, but I encourage students to I always welcome students to be in touch with me. If you like to continue with that work, you after the end of the semester, it is possible to submit the paper for publication, and then these things could be covered. And by the way, this is our objective or aim, that we will try to write the papers. I will try to advise you in such a way that paper should be publishable. It will not be published in this semester, but we will see whether after the end of the semester this paper is able to submit or not. But we will try that to produce a publishable paper using references, citations, how to write them. So, and research ethics, of course, plagiarism is not accepted, not tolerable in any case. So I will also guide you about this, that in every phase you should keep checking your stuff, that about the similarity ratio at Turnitin. It is very important to use appropriate materials. As I was saying, that keep your source good. So material means that is your source of learning. So we should try to connect with good source. I will share some very good books, some very good resource for research. If you see here, very useful contents are given. It tells you that how how papers are written and how to improve them. Means you see here, it will tell you both options, wrong and right. Like this, original version was written like this, and why it is not good, what are the deficiencies, how it could be revised, could be improved, right? So it's a very good book, and it covers many things related to research papers. Similarly, you will take a look at other stuff like this. These are very short things, useful phrases in papers, like very useful and very common phrases used in paper, right? Because while writing the paper, we need to keep it in mind that it should be a scientific writing. It's not informal or daily life communication. It is a scientific writing. Proper wording should be used, and when you do literature review, then you learn that what type of language should be used. This is some of the students who have done under my supervision previously. So some works have been published, some I did not get time to publish, but it was reasonable work. Okay, so I expect you to produce something good, and it will be beneficial for you when you will apply for your master's degree. You will see that I'm sure that you will recall this advice, that how beneficial it could be if you are able to come up with publication. And please don't take it too difficult, or means I should make it clear that although I have shown you different paths, I also said that you should aim high, but it is also a fact that I am not expecting something extraordinary or something too difficult, because I understand that there is a limited time, and in one semester it is difficult, but I will really appreciate your efforts, whatever you will put. Now a look at this PDF file. I hope you will get some better idea now. You see CLO4 is related to effective computing, effective domain in Bloom's taxonomy. So this is a group work, maximum 2 students are allowed, and you will basically authors, first author, second author and third author means your advisor, me, corresponding author, and you should align these first 2 names, like first author is always the main contributor. So if you think that you are working in a group and it depends on you, you know that student 1 has contributed more, so he should be first author, then second author, and if you think both have contributed equally, then you will inform me, you will specify somewhere. So it depends on you. Then these are some guidelines, and as I have written somewhere that it's not necessary to follow every section like this. Depends upon your idea, your research work. You will decide the sections, related sections of your paper. This is about formatting. A template could be downloaded from this page. This Word template, this one, US letter A4, I think this one. So your paper will look like this. Okay, about length of the paper, probably I have written somewhere, but if you are looking for survey review paper, try to write a reasonable length paper, and 6 papers also accepted, but as I said, try to produce something good. 6 pages, sorry. Now what else? As you can see, we have set phases for it. Phases are always useful, beneficial, because we get to know what is the progress going on, and I will give you the feedback on that progress, and we'll try to improve that. Then this is criteria, evaluation criteria, right? Easy to understand. Right, so anything you would like to ask, you may ask me. And of course, when you will submit as per the specified phases, then we will be discussing more, right? And feedback review will also be helpful to you. So during this whole activity, we will be discussing wherever we feel the need. So that's it for now. Have a good time. Bye.